And, well, 1 battles 1, 2 battles 2. So it's Artosis versus eELIah for the first match upcoming here. Well, and Timo broke the system.
Wow, Timo, real?
That's okay. Timo broke the system. Timo just kill the deck overlapping screen because it's not working. Good job. We have it. So you might wonder why those files don't look OP. It's due to, well, some people are not able. Obviously, some people are surprisingly not able to record in 16:9. Some people just don't have 16:9.
Still looks beautiful.
Yeah, it still looks beautiful, and well, everything is okay. You can see Artosis' hand now. He's playing the Rogue, and eELIah is playing the Warlock.
And he drew Van Cleef, which is really, really nice if he can convert. He puts a lot of pressure onto the board, but as we all know, Handlock can deal with a Van Cleef.
Handlock can deal with a Van Cleef, with silences, Siphon Soul.
Some play Big Game Hunter.
Big Game Hunter, even if you
bring him to 8/8 or above.
I mean, that's what I want to say. If you predict a Big Game Hunter, you can actually make your Van Cleef only 6/6. That could help a bit at least.
Yep.
So Artosis has a, well, okay hand here, but in this matchup, actually Artosis has a problem. He might bring his enemy down even in time. The main problem is just, well, your enemy is a handlock. He goes down to 10. He goes down to 8, 9. He just drops 2 Molten Giant if he had them and taunts them up. Like now, there's a Twilight Drake hovering around. If he taunts that up, it's going to be a 10, well, for 10 Twilight Drake. And he will have a lot of trouble to get it killed.
Yeah, even as 2 Twilight Drakes. So that's pretty strong. Especially like, how much HP would he have right now? I think it would be 9 for 9. 4/8.
4/8? I just said 4/10 in my brain.
No, it's 4/9.
It doesn't matter. 4/9 is more than Artosis can kill here, actually. I would still say the Miracle Rogue has a slight advantage over the Handlock, since there is the burst potential you have. And if everything turns out perfectly for you, you can actually, well, destroy your enemy quite hard. He can kill the Twilight Drake now, heal up his Van Cleef by 3, so it would be, in theory, safe. We see he's not safe. There's Shadow Bolt and Molten Coil on your enemy's hand.
Now we fixed the sound issues as well, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Timo got everything under control. But yeah, as he already said, he's currently thinking about, like, considering killing the Twilight Drake. Of course, this Van Cleef would drop low. And there is the potential of a Shadow Bolt or, yeah, Shadow Bolt, Hellfire. So he might lose his Van Cleef, which is not too bad for him since he already has the Auctioneer on the hand and Earthen Ring Farseer. So he gets some minions onto the board.
I guess he's just hoping for no Soulfire Mortal Coil, Shadow Bolt Mortal Coil. But, well, we know eELIah has it in his hand, so we will see.
I think, yeah.
Shadow Bolt, Mortal Coil. Well, he could Hellfire Mortal Coil too, but that wouldn't kill it.
Exactly.
So he has to Shadow Bolt Mortal Coil, or he takes another 6. And even as a handlock without Molten Giants on your hand, you don't want to drop down to 10 HP. So if you drop down to 10 HP, you're just down to 10 HP, and you don't have a Molten Giant, and that hurts.
That most definitely hurts. Let's see what he draws. Oh, he draws Jiraxxus. That's always neat to have on your hand.
Jiraxxus, absolutely useful. In this matchup, you cannot waste, let's say, 10 mana in a turn, 9 mana in a turn, and then you're actually screwed next turn when your enemy just burns you down with Leroy, you're dead. That's what a Miracle Rogue wants to do. And I think it's pretty interesting that Artosis starts with a Miracle Rogue here. Wow. I guess just the newly Miracle Rogue hype in ladder just made all the players play it again. And I think it's pretty cool to have Miracle Rogue back on the stage.
I started playing it today. played for 4 hours Miracle Rogue straight. It was fun.
It's super funny if you get those draws you need. And well, now he not only needs draws, he also needs a conceal for his minion. That would be extremely useful.
He uses prep to draw a card. So what's gonna be his next turn?
You really don't want to eviscerate. If you eviscerate now, you're just bringing him lower and lower, and you want to have that burst. Even if he drops 2 taunters, you still want to be able to burst through that with your eviscerates. 2 eviscerates in 1 turn, that's 8 damage. With the Salnus, that's 10 damage.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to miss it, but he needs to draw those cards. He needs to get Conceal. Deadly Poison. Super good, actually. Together with his Assassin's Blade.
Well, he definitely wants to get the Leroy in at least 1 Shadow Step combo, so he can burst for 12, and he has a Cold Blood on his hand, so on turn 7 he would be able to actually burst for 16 damage.
Oh, that was a pretty cool top deck here from Elia. Shadow Bolt against that Auctioneer, he can just drop a Twilight Drake if he wants, and then Shadow Bolt. That would be a good play, I would say. Still, he's down to 13. So Leroy, Shadow Step, Cold Blood would already kill him, and he needs to play like your enemy has it. Your enemy has it. You're screwed. You need to play Earthen Ring Farseer, Ancient Watcher, and you need to taunt those 2 up, for example, or just Ancient Watcher and taunt up. But you cannot stand around.
He would have survived the
Leroy Shadow Steps, Cold Blood.
No, Leroy Shadow Step, Leroy. He wouldn't survive Leroy Shadow Step, Leroy Cold Blood. No, it's 16 damage.
Yeah, he would still. I was
so
confused.
I would prefer the Twilight Drake play, because then when he taunts it up, he has a more beefy minion, a stronger minion on the field, and he can there's no way he can die basically next round to a combo.
He could have also just played Ancient Watcher, Sunfury Protector to be super safe, or just
safer.
I would say everything okay, but good top deck here from Artosis with that Salnus to deal the 3 damage backstabs. Those 3 damage backstabs, that's what you're living for. Now that Soulfire was wanted last turn. He could have Soulfired and played Twilight Drake plus the heal minion.
Okay, that makes sense. Against the Leroy combo, you kind of want that.
And he's just super cautious going here with a Siphoned Soul on his Salnus. I mean, it's not only the Salnus being annoying, it's also 2 damage from his Shift, 5 damage from his Eviscerate.
Yeah.
There's so much damage possible with the different cards the Miracle Rogue actually has.
And it's also, when he was on 13 HP, the Assassin's Blade plus the Leroy Cold Blood combo would have killed him. So he needed to get those HP up again. And he has the same problem next turn. So I expect him to play the Twilight Drake and the Sunfury Protector to get 2 taunts up.
In the moment, he's really not getting out of the danger zone, and I'm surprised I'm still surprised to use his SI7 agent on the Ancient Watcher. I know why he did it. So if he attacks now, he would kill the Ancient Golem. For example, there's the taunt up. I would have still preferred him going for the phase to bring him down to 8.
Well, I think the reason for that was the Ancient Watcher is 4/5. And he has the Assassin's Blade with the poison on, with deadly poison on, so it's 5 damage. But if you play a Defender of Argus, he goes up to 5/6, and he wouldn't be able to clear it with just your weapon. So I think that is the main reason why he used it on the Watcher. And the difference between having the Warlock on 8 or on 10 is not that huge, because as we already mentioned, Leroy Coldblood would kill him regardless.
And the Mountain Giants come whenever, wherever, whatever. If he's 10, if he's 8, if he's 6, they come for 0. Well, now Artosis has a big problem. He might have a backstab. What do you want to do with a backstab? He has a Shadow Stab, he has Conceal, he has a Shadow Stab. But he has really no minion to use anything in his hand. That's the #1 annoying hand. I guess I would have in the turn where he had the Auctioneer, he could have also just played Cold Blood for naught just to draw a card, and or backstab his own minion for a card. I guess I would have used those 2 cards to draw 2 cards more, and now he would actually be 2 cards ahead and have more options in his hand. This game is not won in any way by eELIah, by Artosis at the moment. eELIah is winning this. He can Alexstrasza, for example, bring him up to 15. He can Jirax if he wants to, but I would prefer Alexstrasza. He can also Alexstrasza his enemy to bring him down to 5 HP. There are a lot of options for him now.
It's a tough choice. I think I would go for the Alexstrasza play and bring myself up to 15.
I guess that healed you the most in the end. I mean, Alexstrasza 5 heal or Jirax's 5 heal. The only advantage you gain by Jirax's, you can do 3 damage more this turn, but next turn you would have an Alexstrasza with 8.
Exactly.
So the advantage now, 3 more damage. The advantage next turn with Alexstrasza, 8 more damage. So I would vote for Alex.
Yeah, same here. And he can also, like, if one of his minions gets, thrown back with a Zap, for example, then he can still deal a lot of damage.
We see a backstab. We see a Fan of Knives in Artosis' hand. I guess he really wants to draw a Blade Flurry now. So backstab, no Blade Flurry. Oh, even even that Eviscerate is kind of useless. He
just won. He lost.
Yep, he just lost. It hurts. This is what I said before.
Yeah, let's just jump right into the match, and we see Artosis chose to play the Warrior, Control Warrior.
Control Warrior is super good against Warlock, especially with a big Game Hunter in starting hand. That's why, like, you would never keep a big Game Hunter against a Warlock in starting hand if you don't know who. Yeah.
That it's a handlock, because if it's actually a Zoolock, you're screwed, because your big Game Hunter has almost no value.
Absolutely. So eELIah has, well, he even has a Yeti in his hand. It's surprising. I haven't seen Yetis in ages in a handlock, but always possible to actually appear here. And he coins out his Ancient Watcher to Ironbeak Owlet. Ballsy plays. I mean, with a Yeti, it's okay if you don't need that HP for your Twilight Drake.
Yeah, he has beefy minions. I don't expect him to play the Twilight Drake anytime soon. And he gets rid of the first Armor Smith, which is super, super important, because the Warrior needs the Armor Smith to get the armor to be able to shield slam and get the big minions off the board. God damn it. Especially against the handlock, because there is a threat of all these giants.
But he's able to clear the board here. Good move by Artosis. I thought he's actually running into hard trouble, but he ain't. So, board cleared. But, turn 4, Yeti or Twilight Drake. Turn 5, Yeti or Twilight Drake. Turn 6, Twilight Drake. So, that hurts. The hand here will hurt, definitely.
I expect him to play the Twilight Drakes now, because they will actually, their value will be different later in the game. Most likely, and the Chillwind Yeti stays the same.
Yeah, Yeti stays constantly 5 HP. Twilight Drake now at least 7, so still extremely good. I guess he can slam here either his own minion to draw 2 cards or just the enemy minion. If he slams enemy minion, he cannot kill it. That's sad. So he decides to slam his own. Absolute value here, and he gets an execute. 2 executes.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Just attack, execute, and armor up, and he gets a second War Axe. As you know, you always need a trigger for your executes. So now he at least has 2 times the War Axe to trigger something, or to trigger anything.
We see there comes the second Twilight Drake, as we expected, end turn. And next round we will most likely see a Mountain Giant.
The big question is he gonna Faceless Manipulator it, or will he just kill it and he decides to, well, just kill it, play his second Fury Wind Axe, armor up. Pretty safe, well, safe play, standard play, I would say, for Artosis here. We're still confused.
And the problem that Artosis has right now is he wants to play Faceless and Big Game Hunter, but he can't. He's short of 1 mana, which is really unfortunate for him.
That hurts quite a lot. He still can Big Game Hunter here, and if he wants to even shield block to, for example, turn 8 play Ragnaros, he decides to not shield block, which is understandable since he wants to shield block, armor up next turn to get like the obese amount of armor he needs to kill a mountain giant instantly.
That's exactly what he's gonna do.
And we see eELIah having Yetis, mountain giants, everything.
What to do?
He could drop the Yeti or the mountain giant. He doesn't want to drop the mountain giant because it would die to Big Game Hunter, Weapon, and a Whirlwind or Taskmaster. So it would die rather easy. But now we see a Ragnaros incoming from Artosis here. And if it hits correctly, it's super nice for him. I mean, it's a golden Ragnaros. Come on. It has to hit the Yeti.
He could also just trade before. But, yep, hits the Yeti. That's really nice.
Well, we see Shadowbolt Soulfire. That might be a dead Ragnaros instantly. But he will lose 1 card. And maybe that's the Molten Giant for eELIah, which would be extremely nice for Artosis.
I would expect him to play Mountain Giant first and then go for the combo you mentioned. Like Mountain Giant, Shadowbolt, and Soulfire. But he also has the option to go for Shadowbolt, Hellfire, and Mortal Coil to draw another card. But then he would have no minion on the board. But still he would clear it.
Absolutely. You need to kill that Ragnaros now. However you do it, just do it. As you mentioned, it would hurt if he Hellfires, Shadowbolt, Mortal Coil, and that's 3 cards.
Well, 2. In the end.
Well, in the end, because you draw 1 card, the only advantage, the advantage with doing this move would be killing the 4/2/2, and the board would kind of be empty, and he decides to do exactly what you told.
Yeah, I think the difference is that if you go for the Molten Giant play, first of all, you play 3 cards and lose another one off your hand cards. And the potential of losing the Mountain Giant, that could be game deciding. So he rather opts for the safer play.
That's correct, and it's good. You don't have to play super risky every time. Will Artosis Alexstrasza here? Yes, he does. I was thinking about maybe Geddon, maybe not. Brings him down to 12. He will be able to drop that Mountain Giant and Molten Giant if he wants to.
I think he's gonna Siphon Soul.
He could also Siphon Soul. So I'm just quoting what he could do, or just armor it up to have an 8/8. Siphon Souls here is on 15 now, but well, even with the Grimash, there wouldn't be a GG now since. Okay.
13 damage.
Yeah, he's gonna play Geddon, attack, bring him down to 10, and hope for, I would say, Grimash.
That would be an insta kill.
Well, he has no trigger at the moment for Grimash. The one annoying thing is he has no trigger, but he brings him down, or the enemy minion down, to 6. That's good. If he trades, well, he needs to trade or taunt up to get past Geddon here.
Nah, you can also
Soulfire and Mortal Coil.
Mountain Giant, and then the question is, I would go for Mortal Coil and then Soulfire. I know you would lose a card, but if you lose the Mortal Coil with the Soulfire, that would be devastating for you, because then you would actually have lost your Soulfire and your Molten Giant.
Oh, it's 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3 if you play your Soulfire. You could take that risk, but as you say, you really don't want to take it since it could be a game-deciding risk. The question is just, is eELIah so ballsy to say, I can handle this?
Mountain Giant, Sun Fury in between the Giants, Mortal Coil, Soulfire is the correct play in my opinion. Of course, you lose the Defender or the Earthen Ring Farseer, but the Warrior, there's always the potential that he plays, for example, a Black Knight. if you only have one taunt, or if you don't have a taunt with 10 HP, there is always the option of Gromash that gets triggered and just insta GGCO. So that seems to be exactly the play that I quoted.
It goes the safe way. The other play would have been possible too, but since it's a tournament here, a league, and you really don't want to lose for your team, I can absolutely understand eELIAH's play. I would say in ladder, everyone would have gone Soulfire and hope the Mordekoi stays, because you're just like, if it works, it works. If I lose, it's just 10 ranks or so if you're legendary already. But here in a tournament, it's absolutely the correct and safe play to do here. And it's not looking good for Artosis, actually.
It's the second time that he is in trouble. And yeah, eELIAH is in a great spot. Like, he has... No, he doesn't have lethal because he just used his Faceless Manipulator. But he's close.
It's still annoying, and if he top decks a Siphon Soul, for example, it's even more annoying. And those double Arguses, they're extremely strong. He can just, well, Argus up his one giant and
trade.
Prevent from dying.
I think what I would do, I would just buff him up one more time, but he decides against it, because then it's Whirlwind safe and Taskmaster safe. Of course, there's still the slam or cleave potential in a warrior deck, but at least you get rid of 2 of potential clearings of one of the giants. So I would opt to buff the 9/9 Mountain Giant, and it seems like he is of the same opinion.
He should do it, as you say, so many cards. We only saw one Whirlwind by now. We haven't seen a Taskmaster, so 3 cards at least still there to kill him off. And he has 2 HP now. It looks extremely good for him. We know there is a Azure Drake in his hand, so Azure Drake Whirlwind may or may not be possible. He will hope for a... Well, I don't see how he survives here, just with some super lucky cleave. hitting that 10-2, actually. That would be like #1 lucky.
Well, the question is, would he survive? He needs to hit both giants. He doesn't, so that's game.
Are you sure? He might let him draw, let him play Azure Drake and draw the Whirlwind to clear 3 minions from the board. If that is Azure Drake,
it would still be GG.
That's only 11 damage on the board. If
yeah, but he has Hellfire on his hand.
Yeah, he has Hellfire on his hand. We're just predicting from Artosis' side, so he would survive in his eyes. Well, that instant concede here.
I think it's the second time we see Artosis going 0-2.